This class is marketing for lead generation. It's and the course, of course, is how to build a scalable real estate company. And we're going to talk about organic leads versus paid leads and the differences between the organic leads and the leads that you actually pay for. Now, there's this misconception every time you become a real estate agent. I know, Sam, you're interested in being a real estate agent, and initially they're going to tell you that you're going to want to focus on organic leads, but that's not the way we're going to do it to get leads. We're going to do both. We're going to do organic leads and pay for them so that you can actually scale. So organic leads are not as scalable as paid leads. However, they are necessary. They are very important. And today, one of the best ways to produce organic leads is utilizing social media and guerrilla marketing. And now we're going to explain how it's beneficial and what you can do with social media. And we'll also be explaining what exactly guerrilla marketing is. So getting right into it, social media marketing is pretty much free marketing. Your social media page should be looked at as your personal business card. Like, it should be like looked at as your website, so that when people go in it, they can see what you do, and you can generate business through it. One of the best ways to have enough content on social media, and you want to do this if you're building any business, is to document everything. I'm talking everything from when you wake up. If it's business related, document it. So when you're going to sleep, if it's business related, you document it, right? And it's really important that you document everything so that you can, chop it up and then post those on social media. Now, the rule of thumb is 2 to 3 posts per day, right? You want to do both videos and pictures, and your page has to be super cohesive, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It has to flow really nice. So some of the things that I do to post my 2 posts per day minimum is I like to do a lesson post and I like to do an activity post. Now, the lesson post is pretty much, learning lessons, whether it be in real estate or a business lesson of some kind, something that you learn that you can actually give to somebody else so that they can learn also. You also want to do activity posts. You can't just talk about it. You got to be about it. You have to actually show videos and pictures of you actually in the field, looking at properties, talking to sellers, talking to buyers. If you can show both lessons and activity, then you can have your 2 to 3 posts per day. And finally, after your marketing post or whatever, always issue a call to action at the end of each post. Always tell them to like, always tell them to follow, subscribe, sign up, buy, etc. You want to make sure that they're actually doing something with the content that you're giving them so that you can give them more. For example, if you're on YouTube, you want to tell them to like and subscribe. If you're talking to cash buyers and you're targeting cash buyers, you're going to want to click you're going to want to put a web form in the bottom of your post, and you're going to tell them, hey, sign up to my cash buyers database for you to get all the exclusive deals and VIP access for you to be the first person to see the deals before anybody else. And most importantly, we're doing this to make some bread. We're giving value, right? And we're giving people game, but at the same time, we also want to be able to sell. Because like somebody told me, there's only 2 types of people. There's the people that are buying and there's the people that are selling. And I much rather be the person selling than buying. So eventually what you want to do is you want to filter those people on your social media to actually buy something from you, whether it's buying your services if you're a real estate agent, whether it's buying one of your courses if you're a coach, etc. Because that's the goal. You want to give value, but you also want to get in return. But in order to get, you have to give. I had one coach that told me, in order for you to be able to receive, you can't receive with your hands closed, right? You can't receive with a balled fist. You actually have to open your hands and give something in order for you to receive in return. And it's okay for you to be open to receiving, because that's the way you're gonna put your family in a good position and make sure that you're good. So always issue a call to action at the end of each post: like, follow, subscribe, buy. That's very important. And what's probably even more important is to always rebrand and repurpose your content, right? So what you're gonna wanna do is you wanna document everything, and you wanna use the same content that you already recorded to repurpose, rebrand it, and put it on other sites, or repurpose and rebrand it and like package it up into something else. So for example, this course that I'm teaching right now, I'm giving you guys game, and I'm teaching you how to build a scalable and wholesaling business. But at the same time, I'm gonna take this content, I'm gonna repurpose it, I'm gonna edit it, I'm gonna rebrand it, and I'm gonna throw it on social media, little pieces here and there. I'm also gonna edit it, repurpose, rebrand it, and give it to my virtual assistants so they can know my business. I'm gonna give it to my standard operating procedures so that they know how to do certain things. And everything that I document is gonna be repurposed and rebranded. So that's gonna be key for your social media marketing. And of course, social media is free unless you're using the paid version of marketing social media, which we can get into that too. So the goal to doing all of this social media stuff ultimately is for you to become a local influencer in your space. You want to be the go-to person when somebody thinks real estate. According to the National Association of Realtors, when someone thinks real estate, they only have the capacity in their brain to think of two people. This is a fact. So you want to be one of those two people that people think about when they think real estate, in order for you to generate those leads and in order for your phone to be popping. So you want to become a local influencer so you can have JV opportunities. Pretty much JV opportunities is when other wholesalers have deals that they can't find buyers for. They'll think of you first, and they'll contact you to see if you can find a buyer for them. And then you can take that opportunity to joint venture with them and then split the assignment fee half and half, or however it is you guys negotiate that. Another really important goal for social media marketing is referrals. As mentioned, you want to be one of the two people in people's heads that they think about when they think about real estate, so that you can generate more leads and eventually generate more income, because we're not doing this to be broke. We're doing this for financial freedom and for our families. So guerrilla marketing versus driving for dollars. Most of the gurus and most of the networking events that you go to, they're gonna be like, oh, you should do driving for dollars this, driving for dollars that. Some people, not all people, but some people will use driving for dollars as a marketing way for you not to know the secret sauce of all these other marketing channels. So don't be surprised if most of these real estate meetups you go to and you ask them like, hey, how are you finding your leads? For most people to say driving for dollars, because most people don't want to tell you what they're doing because they're scared of competing. You know what I'm saying? They're scared that if you get into a market with them, that it'll be more competition for them. And then for them, that's not good. But for us, we look at everything like, there's more than enough to go around. We want to give game. We don't really subscribe to the, that scarcity mindset. But driving for dollars is a good way of getting leads very cheaply, but it shouldn't be the only way. I will teach you about driving for dollars, but moving on in this lesson, we will be talking about paid marketing also. So driving for dollars is pretty much taking note of all the properties that are in disrepair when compared to the other houses in the area. You know what I'm saying? You're going to look for certain things that would identify this property to be a deal. One of those things that I look for is mailboxes. when you're driving by a property and you look and you see that the mailbox is stuffed, like nobody is taking the mail out and it's jam-packed, most likely that's a vacant property, is not being taken care of, and you want to take note of that property in order for you to contact the owner eventually, and we'll be teaching you how to do that stuff too. You want to be able to look at the landscaping. If the landscaping is crazy and it looks like they haven't mowed the lawn in a year, this is most likely a property where it's either vacant or somebody in there is going through some problems, or they can afford to do landscaping when compared to the other houses in the neighborhood, and that might be a potential lead. Also, what you want to look for is decorations. If there's no decorations, if there's no like clue or sense of pride and ownership, and it just looks really plain and it looks like pretty much empty, most likely it is. Nobody's living in there, and you want to take note of those properties that are pretty plain and boring and it looks like they're vacant, so that you can try to contact those sellers. So what should you do when you find a house? A lot of people are gonna, write the property down and then they're gonna skate. They're gonna leave. They're gonna be like, they're gonna put it in their little. What I encourage you guys to do is to get out the car and knock on the door. That's going to be the first thing you want to do. You want to get out and you want to knock. And if somebody opens, don't be nervous. Just keep it real. Tell them what you do. Tell them you buy houses. You could tell them like, hey, my name is Jose. I'm just introducing myself to the area. I'm a real estate investor, and you just want to have a regular conversation. It doesn't have to be awkward, and you don't have to be nervous. You can just introduce yourself and let the conversation flow. If nobody is at the property, what you want to do, in my opinion, is you want to either leave a door hanger or you want to leave a note, right? So a door hanger is pretty much door hangers that they sell online, and you could customize it to where it has your company's information, your phone number, some of the benefits. We buy houses cash as is. Contact Jonathan at 1234567, and you leave that on the door. It's a little hanger that you leave on the doorknob, and then when somebody does eventually come to tend to the property, they can find your door hanger on there. Or if you don't want to get fancy and put a door hanger on, you can leave a note, tape it to the door, put it in the mailbox. I encourage you guys to leave something with your information on it. And finally, what I like to do is, when I'm driving for dollars, I want to place my driving for dollar list into an actual paid marketing channel. And we're going to get into that in a little bit, which is like, all right, I just composed this list of 100 properties. I'm actually going to put this into one of my marketing channels to actually contact these people as quickly as possible. So another really important thing is you have to know how to identify opportunities, because this is critical in this business. You got to know what's an opportunity when you're actually looking at it, right? So a couple of opportunities that are my absolute favorites is whenever I'm driving through a neighborhood and I see contractors working on the property, I stop at all construction sites and I talk to contractors. Contractors are always at deals, always. If it's not a deal that was already bought, listen, they're the first point of contact. Like when you get a deal, the first person you're contacting is a contractor, so they can fix it up, so you can hurry up and refinance out of it. So if you see a contractor in the street and they're working on a property, you're going to want to talk to the contractor, ask them like, hey, do you know if this is for sale? Is this your property? You want to ask them if they know about any other deals. You want to give them your business card, tell them what you do, tell them you'll pay them a referral fee if they bring you a deal, but you want to have a conversation with contractors. So if you're driving for dollars and you see a contractor, I encourage you to stop and go talk to them. Another really big one, and this is my secret, a little bit of my secret sauce, is I conversate with anybody who's either loading or unloading your U-Haul truck. When you're in the city and you're driving for dollars and you see a U-Haul truck, that means somebody's either moving in or moving out. And if somebody's moving out, if you can ask the right questions and get the right information, then you can hit the jackpot, right? Because if somebody's moving out, you know, that's, let's say it's the owner, right? The owner is moving out. That's a property that is about to be vacant. That's a property that he'll either list on the market or sell at a deep discount because he's moving somewhere because he either can't afford it or he just bought another house and he needs to get rid of this house. If it's a tenant that's moving out, you know, you're talking to them and the tenant's like, yeah, I had to move out. Landlord didn't want to fix nothing, whatever, whatever. Off rip in your head, you already know this is a landlord that's about to have a vacancy and he's about to lose money. And if he got a mortgage on the property and he's not managing it correctly, and this tenant leaves and he can't afford to pay that mortgage, here you come to make that offer so that he can be, you know, so you could be the first point of contact to try to buy it. So anyone in a U-Haul truck, loading or unloading, you want to stop, you want to give them your business card, introduce yourself, tell them who you are. If it's the owner, that's even better. Tell them you want to give them an offer. If it's the tenant, tell them like, hey, I'm an investor. If you give me the landlord's number and I can successfully put this under contract, I can give you my word that I'm going to give you a $500 referral fee. And once you tell tenants $500, the eyes light up, they're moving anyway, they'll give you that landlord's number or the property manager. So when you're driving for dollars, look for the U-Haul trucks. You're going to want to call every We Buy Houses bandit sign. I don't know if you guys noticed, but every time you're walking, you're driving through the neighborhood, you're going to see bandit signs on light poles, on electric poles, everywhere. And there's going to be certain houses that say Lee buys houses, John buys houses, We buys house. You want to call them, right? And you want, when somebody, the good wholesalers that are putting these out, they answer the phone right away. Some of them, they don't even pick up. And I always wonder to myself, like, why would they spend all the money on these bandit signs if I'm going to call and they don't even pick up? So what you want to do is you want to call all of those wholesalers and you're going to ask them if they have deals. Because let's say they have deals and, you know, they are not moving them, and you have a cash buyer where that deal fits their criteria, that's a JV opportunity. You also want to ask them to add you to their cash buyers database so that you can see how they're marketing, right? So if you give them your phone number, your email, once they get a deal, you can see all the emails they're sending out. And in this business, you just copy and paste. You just see what it is they're doing. And if it's working, you want to do your marketing just like them if they're successful wholesalers. Another thing you want to do is attend all real estate investment meetings. Tomorrow there's one that we might go to, you know, and what you want to do is you want to be able to get known, people to know who you are, and you also want to set yourself apart by having a rock solid why and having a really good story. So when people approach you and talk to you, you know, you want to tell your story in a way that shows trials and triumph, enough for them to remember you and for you to be able to set yourself apart so they can, you know, actually remember you. And of course, you want to hand out business cards every chance you get. So those are different driving for dollars and guerrilla marketing tactics. These are certain things that you can look out for. And we're going to jump right into the bread and butter. We're going to jump right into paid marketing. Paid marketing is going to be what allows you to scale your business. I'm going to go through a couple of different paid marketing avenues or channels, I should say, where people, you know, have historically found a lot of success in. And I'm going to break down what each of these paid marketing channels are. The ones that are most common is direct mail marketing, bandit signs, cold calling, ringless voicemails, drop texting, paid social media marketing, PPC/Google ads. And we're gonna run down this list and tell you exactly what it is. So what is direct mail marketing? So pretty much you're gonna compose your list of all the homes that you're interested in, and you're gonna send them to a third-party company in order to send all of those homes multiple postcards. You're gonna wanna send at least 5 postcards to the house in any given campaign. So pretty much what you wanna do, you wanna send your list postcards. And most people, when they get a postcard in the mail, what are they going to do? They're going to look at it and they're going to throw it out, right? Because it's junk mail. Everybody throws away junk mail. But we schedule our campaigns in a way that you're going to send them multiple, so that eventually on that third postcard that they get, they can look at it and actually read it. You know, on the postcard, it should be something called a pattern interrupt, something that stands out enough for somebody to actually read the postcard. The best method is to make the postcard look like it's handwritten. So on the postcard, you're gonna have your company name, the fact that you buy houses, the fact that you pay cash and close quickly is gonna have your phone number. You're gonna wanna make it look handwritten. You're gonna wanna send it to your list at least 5 times in any given campaign. So let's say you're running a campaign of direct mail marketing for, let's say, 6 months. You wanna send them 1 postcard every 6 weeks for 6 months, and eventually you generate leads like that. So that's direct mail marketing. Bandit signs. Bandit signs are cool because you get to be in the field and you get to like be out there, you know, having fun and putting them up. So pretty much bandit signs are signs on the street that promote your phone number, that indicate that you buy houses, right? Now, these are also supposed to be a pattern interrupt. They're kind of supposed to be ugly enough to disrupt people's daily patterns and cause the sellers to kind of unintentionally look at it so that they can actually read it. Because, like, you know, we get hit with so much information every day while we're driving around that sometimes we need something disruptive in order to like snap out of our flow and actually look at something. Most of the time when we hop in the car and we head towards work, sometimes we don't even know how we got there because it's so habitual that sometimes you could just be sitting and you just get there and you're already at work doing your thing. And it's, you do it so much that, you know, it becomes a habit. So your bandit signs need to stand out, and they need to be a pattern disruptor so that people actually look at it. That's what bandit signs are. All right, so another paid marketing channel is cold calling. Can you guys see my screen clearly?
Yes.
All right, cool. So cold calling is pretty much, it's the act of calling multiple numbers at the same time until a potential seller answers the phone. This is actually a form of something called prospecting, where we're calling people out as opposed to them calling in. Once a potential seller answers the phone, we can pre-qualify them and determine whether it's an actual lead or someone we can follow up in the future. Cold calling is super important in that it teaches you how to talk to sellers. It's a great way for you to get punched in the face in the beginning, because that's what you're looking for. You're gonna you wanna sharpen your skills. And cold calling is one of the best ways for you to make these calls and ask them if they're interested in selling their homes, and making a bunch of mistakes and eventually refining your skills with talking to sellers. This is the way I started. You know, it's not for everybody. There's a lot of rejection, but at the same time, it's one of the best ways to actually, you know, get your foot in the door with how to speak to sellers, because eventually that's pretty much a lot of what this business is talking to sellers and getting those deals locked in. Cold calling is one of the best ways to get started. Ringless voicemails are very cool. It's a system in which you can upload a list of multiple phone numbers and send them all the same voicemail at the same time. Those people who call back, you can pre-qualify them accordingly. So let's say you put up a list and you send the list of 1,000 people the same voicemail. You're gonna have people calling you back, telling them they're interested in selling. They're gonna have people calling back, telling you to F off, never to leave them a voicemail again. You're gonna get a little bit of everything, but this is a form of getting your phone to ring as opposed to prospecting, which prospecting is cold calling, ringless voicemails. It's getting your phone to ring. For me, I think prospecting is really great for getting started and learning how to talk to sellers, but ultimately I want people to call me. I want inbound calls so that I can qualify them and see if they're serious enough to sell. Because if they're calling you and they're interested, then that's pretty much them raising their hand saying, yes, I want to sell. What's next? You know what I'm saying? So ringless voicemails, that's what that is. Drop texting is similar to ringless voicemails, where you could take those list of phone numbers and send them all the same text message at the same time. Typically, they're going to text you back. Some people call the number that texted them, which is great, because if they're interested, they're motivated enough to call that number that just texted them, which is great. You want to, if you send a SMS campaign and you're texting all these people, the more people that are calling you back, whether it's telling you F you or that they are interested, the better. Because once that phone starts popping, there's going to be a deal in that campaign. So you're going to send the text message. Most people are going to text message you back, and you're going to either reply with a phone call or you're going to reply via another text message. And what I do, there's systems where people are, automating their text messages, but I like to nurture every single lead that comes into my system. And I like to follow up with text messages, with customized text messages from me directly to the prospect, versus just automatically sending them something. So that's what I do. Other people do it differently. And another thing is, when you're sending a text message campaign and somebody tells you that they're interested, don't ask them permission to call them. Just call them right then and there. If they give you a yes, instead of texting them back, a yes is a yes, call them. If they don't pick up, they're probably at work, and then you can send them a text message afterwards saying, just try to call, was just trying to get a little bit of information, a couple details on the condition, blah, blah, blah. But text messages are a great way for marketing also. Social media marketing, paid social media marketing, is pretty much Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads. And there's one thing to keep in the top of your mind. There's a science to social media marketing that you need to know in order to do it correctly, right? Before you do any social media marketing, you want to study the formula and do it the correct way. Otherwise, it's going to be like flushing money down the toilet. There's different courses that you can take to correctly do social media marketing. And there's one resource that I love using. It's imwarriortools.com. And pretty much if you sign up for this website, they'll give you courses on social media marketing and how to do it correctly. This is a science. This is something that you have to study, and you're going to want to do this correctly because it's not cheap. And the same goes for PPC and Google ads. So pretty much what PPC and Google ads are is, if you go online and in your area, what'll happen when you type something in Google, say you put sell my house fast. Those are keywords that people are paying for in this area to be able to be on the #1 page of Google. So, the number two page in Google, that's a dead page. Ain't nobody on Google clicking page #2 to see what else there is. You want to be on page #1. And that's what PPC and Google ads are able to do for you. If you actually, go into Google right now and you put sell my house fast and you press enter, most likely it'll be like 1 or 2 investors that really know what they're doing in this market, and they're #1 on the Google ads page. So this is also a formula that you want to learn. This is not something that you just want to put money into without learning how to do it 100%. So I was going to give you an example of somebody who's on page 1, but I don't want to promote their business, so be all right. So really important, marketing managers. Like I said last week, it's going to go from the CEO to the marketing manager to the acquisitions, dispositions, etc. Marketing management is going to be your first point of contact in this business. It's going to be #1. Wholesaling is not a real estate business. Wholesaling is a marketing business. That's probably one of the things that you should keep on the top of your mind, that this business is not about real estate. This business is about marketing, because marketing is going to be what gets the job done. So some of the roles and responsibilities of a marketing manager, very important. Pretty much marketing managers are data diggers. They're going to be looking for data, 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 and more data. So pretty much when I say data diggers, is composing your list of people that you want to contact. And there's all these different lists online. And the more refined the list and the more creative the list, the higher likelihood you are to land a really good lead that everybody else isn't trying to go after. So a couple of examples of lists that your marketing manager should be digging: pre-foreclosures, if that's in your marketing game plan. That's self-explanatory. People who didn't pay, who are about to get foreclosed on. Probates, that's a really good list, and where a probate is pretty much someone who has inherited a property. It's like the process of selling a house that was inherited to them. The probate list, there's a lot of money in probates. Absentee owners, in-state and out-of-state. Absentee owner list is pretty much landlords. You want to look for tired landlords that don't want to deal with managing and tenants and toilets and termites. Those are the absentee owners, both the people who live in state and out of state. You'll have success with both. You have tax liens list. Tax liens, people who don't pay their taxes, and they have a lien. There's different sources where you can go to get a list of those sellers, those potential properties that you can buy. People with high equity, people who have owned the property for a long time and it's worth a lot more than what they owe on it. There's different lists where you can target specific areas, specific zip codes. There's certain lists where there's empty nesters, where you bought a house, you raised your family in it, everybody's off to college and starting their own families, and here you are, it's just husband and wife and this big ass house that you really don't need, and you're ready to move on and sell that property. There's lists where you can pull seniors that are 72 years old and over. There's lists of condemned properties where the city says it's not safe enough to live inside. There's lists where you can pull water bills, where people owe water, and if they owe water, that's an indication that they're struggling and maybe you could buy it. So your marketing manager is in charge of getting you the list, of getting you the data, and getting you the best data. So that's their number one priority. So another thing that they have to do is mastermind a marketing game plan for you. You as the CEO, you have to kind of give them guidance to what kind of marketing you want happening so that they can go out and get it for you. So a rule of thumb is to pick 3 different list types to market to. Just as an example, just for the sake of this lesson, let's say you and your marketing manager are coming up with a game plan and you're like, all right, boom. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna target probate leads, people who owe taxes, tax liens, and we're gonna target landlords, absentee out-of-state landlords. So he's in charge of getting these 3 lists, right? And then on top of that, he or she will also be in charge of picking 3 or 4 marketing channels in order to reach those leads, right? So they're going to be in charge of, the setting up the campaigns and choosing if the marketing channels are going to be, SMSs, direct mail, ring list, cold calling. You're going to want to choose at least 3 in order to target these people in different ways. Because what winds up happening is some people are more receptive to answering you in other marketing channels than others. So for example, if somebody cold calls me, I'm not gonna be really receptive to answer all these questions because I'm gonna think it's a scam, right? If somebody does a ringless voicemail for me, I'm not gonna be really receptive to even listening to the voicemail because I just don't listen to any of my voicemails. But if somebody texts me, as an example, I know myself, I'm gonna be like, let me see what this is about. And it feels safe for me. So I'm gonna text back and I'm going to answer questions. So you should always come with more than one marketing channel for your list, because different people are going to want to respond in different ways. Maybe the older folks are going to be more receptive to picking up a call and talking on the phone because that's how they were raised. You know what I'm saying? The younger folks, maybe they're going to be more receptive to text messaging. So there's different ways, and your marketing manager should mastermind a marketing game plan with you. They should pull 3 lists and 3 marketing channels and get started on that. They're going to coordinate, schedule, and manage campaigns. So coordinate, they're going to download and or request any specific list type that you want. So it's going to be their job to actually go out there and get the list for you. They're going to skip trace that list, which is a fancy way of getting phone numbers. And there's different websites where you can get skip tracing data, batchleads.com, just a whole bunch of different ones. And they're going to be in charge of uploading the list to that specific marketing channel, so that when the marketing is running, they can coordinate that. They're also going to be in charge of scheduling. So you're going to mastermind a specific time and date for specific marketing campaigns to go live. And that way it'll make certain that the lead manager is going to be ready for the calls. So for example, let's say you're masterminding with your marketing manager and you say, I want this list to run between Monday and Friday, every day between 10 and 2. They're going to be in charge of going into the system and actually scheduling that campaign so that when the calls start coming, your lead manager knows what to expect and he can start picking up the calls. And of course, they're going to manage campaigns. They're going to track results to see which marketing channel is netting the most amount of leads or the most amount of profits. The reason you want to track everything, tracking your results with campaigns, is because if you see a specific marketing channel is working and you're generating most of your leads or most of your income through that specific marketing channel, you're going to want to dump more money into that marketing channel because it's netting more results, and they're going to be in charge of tracking which marketing channel is netting you the most money. They're also in charge of coordinating with IT on individual marketing platforms to identify why your campaign isn't working. A good example of this is pretty much, let's say you're on a website, Slide Broadcast, for example, and you're sending out RVMs, and for some reason, they're just not working out. It's either something you're doing wrong or it's something that is on their end, but the marketing manager, they're in charge of actually contacting Slide Broadcast to see what's going on and to actually get your campaign going. So they're going to be in charge of actually talking to the people in IT to see why this isn't working. Your marketing manager should also coordinate with any developers that you have to make sure your systems are working properly and to coordinate any updates, right? So by systems, you're gonna want different things like customer relation management tools, softwares, different things that can actually manage all of these campaigns. And what your marketing manager is in charge of doing is working with the developers to make changes accordingly, according to your business, or to update anything that changed on any of your systems. Really important, your marketing manager, lastly, should be in charge of documenting and updating any of your standard operating procedures. So what a standard operating procedure is pretty much something that you write out or you record, pretty much telling people that you train how to do something. You ever get a job at Walmart and they make you sit in front of the computer and look at a bunch of videos? This is how you do this. This is how you do that. This is how you do this. Those are standard operating procedures that you need for your business so that when you hire somebody to fill a role, they'll be able to know what they're doing. So your marketing manager should write out in a clear and concise way each step you take in the various websites in order to document a comprehensive how-to guide. So in other words, they should keep a written document outlining every step that they're taking in order to fulfill their job duties. And that's not that hard, right? All they're gonna do is document the process. They're gonna write it out in steps. And a lot of times systems change and they're gonna have to update those systems. So they should be in charge if they're going into a website where they're sending out a campaign and the website changed something, they should go into their SOPs and update that SOP. It's very important because not everyone is going to be in your company forever. You're gonna hire people all the time and you're gonna wanna forward these SOPs to the people you hire. And if they're not updated, then it's gonna be a whole mess. A really good way of documenting your SOPs is by doing videos. So he should, if you have a marketing manager, he should be recording his desktop showing exactly what he's doing in order to get that job done. He should be documenting via video any updates, and he should just document everything he's doing. And videos are great because they're a really good point of reference in that, they can accompany, those written documents. So you want both written documents and videos. You want them to marry, and you want to have your marketing manager updating those SOPs if anything changed. And that right there is the marketing management position, the fundamentals. I know it was a lot. Maybe you guys have a lot of questions. I'm open for any questions you want to ask. And next week is going to be all about lead managers. So as mentioned, this comes in certain steps. You got the foundation, you got the marketing, and now you're going to get lead management. And we're going to take you all the way to closing the deal with the title company. I trust that this brought you guys value. Thank you for joining, and I look forward to the next one.
All right,
Nice,
bro.
man. Thank you, bro.
Have a good night, guys.
All right, God bless. Peace.